So do you still get to follow the NBA? I mean, I know you're
Yeah.
playing so much, but
I mean, I every morning I wake up, that's the first thing I do is NBA.com and check the highlights, check the scores, the news.
the Daily Zap.
The hoops hype, and I follow that. Yeah, it's it's part of my
Lakers?
life. Again.
No, are you a Laker? Is that who
Big
you
Laker fan.
Yeah,
Well, I was born and raised in L.A.
Yeah,
I grew up with
so
Showtime.
you didn't jump on that Clippers bandwagon, huh?
Put it this way: whenever the Clippers play the Lakers, I want the Clippers to win. But I want the Lakers to win.
Really?
I mean, only because I feel like that's one extra supporter that they may need.
That they definitely don't have. Yeah. Is there?
Did you watch the Christmas game, the Miami Lakers?
I watched the first quarter because it was on at like 2 a.m. So I watched the first quarter.
We were down. No kidding. We were down at Hagov, who obviously is one of our sponsors, and you couldn't get a seat at 2:00 in the morning. I mean, it was packed.
Wow.
Everyone in their jerseys for whatever team, and oh my gosh, it was insane. And then Laker fans got really quiet by halftime, and it was a weird game. I mean, I don't know. I mean, somebody sent me a tweet message saying that was just Phil playing mind games with the Heat for the finals. I was like, I don't know. It looked like the Heat just wanted it more. I mean, that game, I think, meant a lot more to them than it did to the
absolutely.
Lakers.
I mean, the Lakers are, two-time defending champs. And,
Right.
They'll definitely bring it when they need to, but
But you saw how upset Kobe was after the game.
Kobe, I feel like Kobe's upset after every game, win or lose. Until they win the championship, he's not satisfied.
Now, let me ask you this, because just going back to the NBA for staying with it, I've made a joke on air that I thought the Heat would only lose 3 more games. Obviously, they lost 1 cent, so now they can only lose 2 more to keep my prediction right. Of course, it's an absurd prediction. What does it take, though? I mean, you see in the NBA, you had some crazy streaks going. I mean, you guys have, you guys run in streaks as well. What does it take to keep that and mentally keep that? I mean, you had the Celtics were at 14 or 15, and the Heat were at 10, and Dallas was at 12, 10, something like that.
What does it
take? Just
take? What it
intensity.
takes, it's a combination of, first of all, health. You have to stay healthy throughout long stretches. Like you said, motivation and focus, coming to work every day, practicing, following a specific game plan, how your coach is preparing you. But it's also, a question of whether the other team is, catches fire. I mean, sometimes you can meet a team that makes every shot. There's not much you can do about that. So, it's a combination of a lot of things. And obviously, the more professional you are and the more talented you are, you have a better opportunity of going through these long stretches of victories.
All right, now let me ask you this, because I know I'm going to make a weird parallel here, but the Israel Football League, which is obviously an amateur league, the Tel Aviv team was undefeated. They've won, I don't know, they had won like 14 in a row, including last year's championship. Now, they got beat last week for the first time. And the first thing the head coach says to Ari after the game is, it was good to lose. It was okay to lose. Gives everybody their money. I mean, did you guys really feel that way, like after B'nai Sharon or something? I mean, was there really a thought that a loss can be good?
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
I see, and we debated this last night, and I guess I lose.
Well, you see, there's a syndrome when you beat Maccabi, you're bound to lose 5 straight after that.
You throw it all into one game, or no?
It's almost like you take one step back to take 2 forward, and sometimes everybody in life needs to be humbled, and a loss definitely humbles you. You get to watch video and you get to see your mistakes, and then you can correct them. If you win every game, most likely towards the end of the season you're going to lose one. So, it's good to lose sometimes. Obviously, not too many, and definitely not later in the season.
Wow, we got trash talking all over the place.
We are going to go on a break.
Yes,
we're going to take a short break, and when we
Sure.
come back, we're going to be with Sam Clancy, Pole Jerusalem's power forward center, who went to U.S.C. with Blue.
Wow.
Stay tuned.
Broadcasting live from Israel.
IsraelSportsRadio.com. All your plumbing needs, call me Sean Plumbing at 052-240-3557. Sean Plumbing can take care of boilers, radiators, blockages, burst pipes, and all your general plumbing needs. Mention this ad when you call Michon Plumbing and receive 10% off your service call.
Midrash Devora, adapting Rumi post-high school program which educates minds and broadens horizons. Located in Baca, the lovely Jerusalem neighborhood provides an excellent background and setting for a tremendous education. Our students learn, love, and feel the land of Israel and get tools which will last them a lifetime. Generous scholarships are available. Please contact us at midrashetdevora.org. Call us from Israel at 052-534-6260 or from North America at 718-593-4162. Midrashet Devora, we're the program you've been waiting for.
DelightfullyDelivered.com. Have a cake and gift package delightfully delivered to someone in Israel. Beautiful cakes for birthdays, anniversaries, and special occasions. Delightfully deliver a cake or gift package to someone studying in Israel. DelightfullyDelivered.com. With free delivery in Jerusalem. Click on the DelightfullyDelivered.com ad on the Israel Sports Radio homepage right now to send a cake and gift package to someone special. DelightfullyDelivered.com.
HomeForTrip.com. What is HomeForTrip.com? HomeForTrip.com is the leading directory for holiday rentals in Israel, with a portfolio of luxury apartments verified by us and account managers who speak your language. HomeForTrip.com. Apartments are choice locations in most vibrant neighborhoods of the city. Your luxury vacation home awaits you in Tel Aviv on the Mediterranean Sea or in Jerusalem in the Holy City. Come home and relax in Israel. Start planning your Israel vacation in one of our special apartments. Go to our website and see availability in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. HomeForTrip.com.
To begin planning your vacation, call 972-50680-6577. That's 972-50680-6577.
Broadcasting live from Jerusalem, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
We are back at IsraelSportsRadio.com for our special exclusive production with David Blue, Maccabi Tel Aviv star forward, one of Europe's best shooters and defenders, if I must say, and Andy Gershman, founder of Israel Sports Radio, and on the line with us, Apollo Jerusalem forward center, Sam Clancy. Sam, how you doing?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
We're good. You want to recap that game that we just saw a few nights ago where you guys played terribly losing to Maccabi?
Wow.
Yeah, it was a bad game.
I didn't know he was going to ask you that, Sam.
Talking about being set up.
Yeah, no, it is a setup.
No, Sam, I want to congratulate you on a great team. Playing last year, B'nai Sharon, I had a few chances to come out and watch you. And apparently a good friend of mine, Adam, picked you up from the airport when you first landed here, right?
Yeah.
And took you to your physical.
Yep.
So you have warm regards from him. And just about the game, I mean, what were you missing?
Oh, this last game?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Maccabi, they came in, they shot, 50% from the three, and
From the three,
and 66% from two. So whenever you get those kind of numbers, it's kind of tough to win any game.
Well, Maccabi shoots 50% from the three. You know where those shots coming from.
Exactly.
They were coming from everywhere, but the
Everywhere,
thing is,
yeah.
Maccabi, we had 20 turnovers, and I think that was that kept Jerusalem in the game, for a little bit. But like Sam said, it was it's one of those games when the team is hot and shooting the ball well, it's tough to play against teams like that.
Yeah, but when you lose sometimes, you automatically go to the stat sheet and you want to see what's wrong. So what was wrong with this stat sheet was with Maccabi. I mean, you guys had an advantage of 20 rebounds over Jerusalem. That stands out.
Yeah, I guess that stands out a little bit.
Well, there was no rebounds to get. Shooting
right.
66% and 50%, we can't get no rebounds. I mean, they make it every shot, so there is no rebounds for us to even take.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam, you want to take us back a little to U.S.C., some college days?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, to the good old days?
To the good old days.
Because these are the bad days,
What,
right?
Sam,
Playing once a week.
Sam, what do you remember most about being a Trojan?
Man, I got fond memories, especially for me, it was a time like, as a young man, you come into your own, basketball-wise and as a man, and mine was just the team, the camaraderie that we had, and you know, and the college lifestyle, everything was great. You know, now I'm grown, I got more money now, but you know, you still miss the college days.
Yeah, I mean, you probably also really enjoyed the weather, you know, the atmosphere of like you said, of college. I know for me, you know, it was a little bit different experience because I'm from LA, whereas you were coming from Ohio. You know, I guess that was the first time you were out on your own.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, especially coming from Cleveland, snowing like crazy.
Right.
You know, I was out there in LA, you know, big city, bright lights for the first time, and you know, I enjoyed it. You know, and you know, I can't say everything, you know, that we did on the radio, but it was
Tell us
it was
one
good
thing.
times.
Tell us one thing good you did.
Yeah, it was fun times, you know.
What you mentioned, it must have been a hard sell, L.A. versus Ohio. There, I mean, that must have been a tough recruiting.
Well, it was different. What other teams were you
It was
recruited by?
Cincinnati. I was basically Cincinnati, Big Ten schools, you know, Michigan, a few schools in ACC, but you know, I really loved the coach Henry Bibby we had. Yeah. You know, he really sold the program and everything, and when I came in, we had a top 5 recruiting class in the nation, so it wasn't that hard of a sell to get out of Cleveland, you know, to go to LA.
Now, Henry Bibby, who played for the Cowboys? What was his brother played for the Dallas Cowboys or somebody? There was a Dallas Cowboys connection. Henry Bibby was actually, believe it or not, this is going to be crazy to say, one of my coaches at University of Richmond basketball camp.
Really?
I mean, we're talking a long time ago. But, yeah, I mean, great, man. I just remember him just like such a teacher. So, yeah. Great.
He was a good teacher.
Right. Yeah. So
I think probably for me, the thing I remember most about Bibby was that he, not as much basketball, but more about life.
Right.
You know, things like off the court and, you know, how you live your life. I think those were the things that stuck with me.
Yeah, he really prepared us for life, you know, like the stuff that we know the X's and O's, but the stuff that you don't always, you know, think of a basketball player has to go through, you know, about your family, your relationships. He really prepared us for stuff like that and people coming at you like that, you know, more than basketball, X's and O's.
I bet you he didn't prepare you for those drums that don't stop beating at Malcha.
No. I don't know nothing. I don't know.
There were no really drums in college basketball.
Yeah, there's no drums. It's more like trumpets or the band or something.
Right,
there's no drums.
I mean, it's like the Cameron Crazies have this rep, you know. They have nothing compared to what goes on in a game here.
They don't stand a chance. People throwing smoke bombs during the game.
Right?
All over the court.
Yeah.
No, it's not the same.
Sam, you're from Ohio?
Yeah, Cleveland.
Does that mean you're a LeBron hater?
No. Actually, you know, I grew up. You know, I'm older than LeBron, so I grew up, you know, when he's down the street. So I can't hate. He's like the hometown boy.
Okay.
You know, so you know, I used to be a basketball counselor. You know, and he'd be a camper, and him and my brother actually grew up. They're the same age.
Oh,
so
wow.
you know, I got LeBron. I've been knowing him since he was like 14 years old.
Oh, that's when he first started on ESPN.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was always famous. You know.
So do you think that the hatred for LeBron in Ohio is subsiding, or do you think it still is, you know?
Just because they're doing better, it's increasing.
I think that they will always, because Cleveland, you got to understand, it's a you know, a blue collared city. We don't have much going for us. It's terrible weather, you know, terrible economy. So LeBron was the only thing that was giving life to the city of Cleveland.
Right.
You know, the Browns are terrible. So the way he did the people and with the decision, it just didn't sit well with a lot of people. And I believe that if he would have came out and said, I'm going to Miami earlier,
quietly,
it wouldn't be quietly, it wouldn't be so much hate. You know, but he kind of like threw it in people's faces in Cleveland, and they felt, they felt bad for that.
And then probably, you know, the people followed Dan Gilbert's lead. I mean, if Dan Gilbert would have, you know, gave his blessing, do you think that, you know, the fans would have been a little less, you know?
He said some harsh things.
Yeah, they had some harsh words to say. You know, I was surprised by, you know, some of the reactions. And I mean, people, they don't even know this kid. And, I mean, for me, that wasn't real love. Like, if you love someone, you love them unconditionally. You know, you say you love him, you only love him because he's dunking for your team. You know, he goes somewhere else, you're like, boo. You know, so for me, I showed, like, a different side of, you know, the Cleveland fans that, you know, I really didn't like to see, you know.
So who are your NBA favorites for these coming finals?
Oh man, I think the Lakers. I know Dave knows me as a longtime Laker hater. He knows me as so they've been struggling right now. So I don't know
who the two-time defending champions.
The two-time defending champions are really struggling. They getting beat at home by double 20-point games. They got problems.
Mediocre
over there.
Team.
Mediocre. That's
team.
kind.
Exactly. Yeah, it is real kind. So, but I like Boston Celtics to come out of the East.
I like Boston, too.
But I still got to head the Lakers coming out the West. But I got my champs as Boston. I think Shaq's going to get his 7th ring. I would like to see that.
So where will Miami fall?
Miami will lose to Boston in the conference finals.
Wow.
Yeah, in the Eastern Conference
That's
finals.
Not the first time LeBron's being eliminated in Boston.
I don't think Miami's got enough big guys to make a playoff, make a strong playoff push.
Sam, I got the same prediction. I believe it'll be Boston and L.A. Boston has too much experience. As long as they stay healthy,
right?
Exactly.
They're the best team.
KG's out right now, but you figure Perkins coming back. I mean, that gives them a lot of fouls underneath between Perkins, Shaq,
big guys.
Jermaine O'Neal. I mean, they are a big baby. I mean, they are.
They're tough. They stacked, and their guards are tough. I mean, especially with Rondo, he's emerging himself as like one of the best point guards in the NBA, and he can't even make a jump shot, and he's one of the best point guards. Crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, coming out of Kentucky, who would have ever thought? I mean, that was what was going to happen, and wow.
He probably thought.
Right. Yeah, that's all that matters,
He's
right?
about the only one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's the only one, yeah. Exactly.
And Danny Ainge is a genius, right?
Genius.
So back to the league that really counts and, that really matters, the BSL.
Couldn't even say that without laughing.
Yeah.
What's your problem?
Sam, traditionally Israel's champion is determined by a Final Four and not a series game, right?
Yeah.
I would say unexpectedly, you will meet Maccabi in the finals. You already lost to them 3 times this year. What do you think you need in order to beat them? Is it an addition player, or is it something that you have to change amongst yourselves?
I don't think put another player is going to help anything or change anything. I think we just got to play better, regardless if we're playing against Maccabi, if we're playing against Ashdod. We just got to play better as a team. Right now we haven't been really clicking in these last 2 weeks for whatever reason. But we just got to go back to the drawing board and go with the fundamentals and play better, as a unit out there and play as a team instead of playing as individuals.
Mm-hmm. So you're counting on Lior to stop Sofo?
I don't think there's really anybody that can stop Sofo.
But Maccabi plays as a team. That's what people understand. They play as one unit out there. So, it doesn't matter if Chuck Edson scores nothing or 0 points or if he scores 20 points. It doesn't matter because they play as a team, and Russ, we got to get to that level of playing together as a team,
That's really all it is.
And that's all it is. This is Europe, That's how the basketball game is played. That's how it was designed, and and they play as a unit together.
All right, Sam, I got one last question for you. I want to know what you think about the whole Reggie Bush situation, how he was stripped of his Heisman and had to give it back. You think that was fair?
No, I feel terrible about that, honestly, being a Trojan myself. But because I see these guys like Cam Newton, his dad's taking money or allegedly taking money, and they still let him play. Then I feel even worse about these guys over here at Ohio State. Terrell Pryor.
Yeah.
All they're doing is selling jerseys and rings to get a tattoo. Is that worth 5 games? The NCAA they're robbing these kids of millions of dollars. They don't give you no money, making millions of dollars on you. For me, it's a terrible institution, and something needs to be done.
Right, and it's so inconsistent, first of all. They went ahead and gave Cam Newton, who rightfully deserved the Heisman, but for what? To strip it from him in 2 years after they... because they left the door wide open. And then Ohio State, if you're going to take a stand, you're letting them play, which is what, tonight, actually, in the Sugar Bowl.
You're right.
You're letting them play anyway, and so you're going to suspend them for next year, and look, they could all declare themselves eligible for the draft if they wanted to.
And for these other things, like the Cam Newton situation, that was like weeks and weeks and weeks. Every week is something new.
Going back
Ohio State came out of nowhere.
Right.
And they're like, all right,
I know.
suspension.
It was,
some of these other guys are getting suspended for nothing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, it was funny because it came up on one of the shows yesterday. This whole, college athletes, and they can work in in the off season. Is that what it is? You can work in the off season, but no one cares if the science major who's on a full ride because they're smart. If they work during the year and they take in money, no one cares if the band scholarship person.
And as an athlete, we were only getting $300 a month.
Yeah, getting $300 a month. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But the worst part is, like, if you have a friend or a family who happens to be wealthy and want to help you out, they can't even help you out. Like, whereas if you're a normal student, you can get help from other people anywhere.
Right.
If you're an athlete, they're like, wait, this guy gave you a bike. It's because you play basketball, and that's not always the case. The people don't always do things for you just because some people are actually out there, genuinely good people trying to help out, young people.
Yeah, not to mention they weren't going to refund any of the ticket money that was brought in from Reggie Bush. That's for sure.
Exactly.
No gate receipts. Exactly.
They're going to get back the $30 million profit that he brought to the university.
Right. Just a strange move.
All right, Sam.
It's terrible.
Thanks for coming on the show, Sam.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Best of luck.
We'll have to get you in studio sometime. You're right down the street. So.
Definitely.
All right. Thanks for being on.
Take it easy.
All right, have a good night.
All right. All right, there you go. Old teammate.
Yeah, always
He's a nice guy.
Isn't it strange? Like, I mean, here you are. Well, we used to say 6,000 miles. That was East Coast. So what? 9,000 miles away, and you end up in the same league, and I mean,
10 years later.
Yeah, wow. I mean, have you crossed paths with other guys?
Well, Desmond Farmer's here playing for Ashkelon. Gabe.
He's probably the only one playing for Ashkelon these days.
Yeah.
Gabe Pruitt.
Devon Jefferson.
No more.
No?
No, Gabe Pruitt's in L.A.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sad situation.
Yeah, that took a bad turn. Yeah, but it has to be, always interesting.
It's very nice. Sam was my roommate, and
really?
We played 4 years together, and we were best friends, and we did everything together. So, it had been years since I had even seen him, and then he played for Le Mans, and I was for Maccabi a couple years ago, and our paths crossed again. And then obviously last year he played, down the street at B'nai HaSharon.
Right.
So it was nice to see him.
That must have been a good time there. It's going back to U.S.C. What was your favorite away memory? Because away games are always interesting in college.
The away game, I guess, the away situation was probably the tournament. Even though that was a neutral court, it was away. But as far as away games go, playing in the Pac-10, we had some great gyms. The ones I remember most are probably Stanford. They had some sort of floor that gave you a couple inches on your vertical, so it was a lot easier to dunk, and the atmosphere was great. Also, playing in Oregon was an amazing experience. So those are probably the two best, and obviously playing at UCLA was incredible.
Well, Ari went to the Harvard of the Southwest, as he likes to tell people, Arizona State. I don't know really how that title came about, but I'm not even sure it's the smartest school in Arizona. Or Tempe.
Well, they're doing pretty good though. In the past few years in Arizona State, they've had some big recruits and some good seasons.
I guess in the Pac-10, it can't be but so hard to get a recruit to go out to those nice temperatures. They used to say that about football in Florida and Texas and, of course, at U.S.C. But, does that really, because you're an L.A. guy, does that amaze you that people actually could make decisions based on weather?
I was being recruited by mostly Pac-10 schools, but I did have the opportunity to go out to Oklahoma State and take a visit there. And to be honest, when I left, I wanted to go there. And then after a week being back in L.A., I couldn't make that leap because there is something about L.A. sort of like there's something about New York,
right?
And weather is a part of it.
Yeah, it's strange. It's something about Tel Aviv. There's always a buzz. There's a rhythm to a bigger city that if you're. When I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, but when I lived in Boston, there's just a completely different rhythm. And, Sam going from Ohio, Cleveland, where he said to big lights,
to Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood.
And he fit right in.
Really?
Yeah, I remember he fit right in.